Yo. Good morning, family. What's good? It's your man AC Star. I want to welcome you all to the AC Star Morning Show. What's good, people? What's good on this Thirsty Thursday? We on this March 18, 2021. It's your man AC Star. Good morning to everybody. Excuse me, just needed a little liquid vibrations. What's good, Sweet Pea? Good morning, my love. How are you, mama? What's good with you? What's good with you? Good morning to everybody. I hope everybody is having a wonderful morning today. I'm a little late today. I'm trying to test out some new times, some new spaces, some new things, trying to get this mic situated. Like that's my biggest thing, this god doggone microphone. But put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me on a microphone. If y'all can hear me loud and clear on the MIC, put a one in the chat. Good morning, Triple OG. Good morning. Good morning to you, my brother. Good morning to you, Triple OG. Hope everybody's having a great day today, a wonderful morning today. Just going to chop it up a little bit here on AC Star Talk Radio. Chop it up a little bit about some things I've been checking out. You know what I'm saying? Please hit the like and subscribe button on the way in. Share the video. Tell them your boy is live. You know what I'm saying? Hope everybody is doing good this morning. You know what I'm saying? What's good, Sweet Pea? What's good with you? How the world treating you, baby? What's going on over there in the motherland? Miss FedEx, Triple OG. What's going on, Triple OG? You ready for the NCAA's done ran down on Indiana, huh? It came so fast. How your state handling that, Triple OG? Y'all doing good handling that? Cause that's the whole shebang is in Indiana. The whole thing. Like they got the whole thing there. Not just some of it, the whole thing. All 68 teams now? So that must be dope. In the home of basketball, some would say. That must be real dope. What's good, Sweet Pea? You all right? You chilling today? You hanging out with us today? Cause I know Sweet Pea, you be everywhere. You be rolling. You like me. You be everywhere. We be everywhere. We be everywhere. I was hanging out with Mo and Kelly early this morning, kicking it with them. It's fun when it's just them two. Y'all know what it's like when they invite their friends. Lord have mercy, that should be hectic. So what's good with y'all today, man? Oh man, y'all. I came today to talk about something. Yesterday I was on Red's channel and somebody had ran in there and they was like, Tommy Sotomayor is like going off, you know what I mean? He saying Kevin Samuels stole his style, stole everything from him. Yeah, it's gonna be popping in Indiana this month, Triple OG. Y'all got a lot going on up there. That's real live right there. That's a lot going on. Yo, I don't like really coming from the stream yard scene because you can't do much. Like I be wanting to play my music and shit. Like on this shit, you just gotta come live. You don't get a chance to shake off the cobwebs or nothing. Like you just gotta be like, bam, stream yards is live. Um, I don't know if they want to do that. Well, I mean, it's probably a unique thing. Like if they do it that way, Triple OG, they're gonna have to make it a unique experience. Like it's not like they can't just they can't they gotta make it an event though, right? Where it's fan friendly, it's tourist friendly, right? Because they're able to pull it off now because there's not gonna be a lot of people there because I mean it's a pandemic and shit. So just just imagine if it was like if everybody could go. Like if all the teams, their families, everybody could show up. That should be a nightmare. That's why I think they separated and put it in different cities and states and everything. And plus to help the economy in those areas, to help those arenas and things like that. So it's all a business. I don't know if they could kind of shrink it down to where one state, you know what I mean? But for them to pull that off within the pandemic shows that anything's possible and they always have contingency plans and you have people that work very hard to pull off events like this because that's a lot of logistics to get all those teams in one state and all that go on with that, the referees, the lodging, all that. So yeah, yeah. Well, when the Giants did it, it was a nightmare on the transportation side because what happens up here, damn, I gotta get rid of this cough. What happens up here is, once you're dealing with arenas in this area, it becomes a thing of transportation because you don't want to be driving to Giant Stadium. You don't want to get so people kind of use the transit system up here because for the most part it's a fairly reliable train system, right? It's a fairly reliable metro transit system, right? That gets you to and fro New York, New Jersey, right? But it wasn't prepared for a Super Bowl. It wasn't prepared for most of the people to stay in New York, and it was just weird. They couldn't deal with the traffic and the train stations. It was just really weird. That's what I got right now, Sweet Pea. I got some ginger tea with lemon. I got acid reflux real bad. Like that's what that is. I got like acid reflux really, really bad. And I don't want to take that medicine for it. So I try to do like natural things because like the medicines that they was given for acid reflux, I think it caused cancer or some shit. Like, so I'm good off that. I'm glad I never took it when it was offered to me. It's one of those medicines you take to club your acid reflux and you lose a damn limb, you lose a leg or arm. So yeah, man. So like I was saying, I was watching Reg's channel, right? And somebody that came in and was like, yo, you know, Tommy going in on Kevin Samuels, right? So I tuned in because I haven't watched Tommy in years, man. Like literally like clicked into Tommy. I haven't watched the Tommy Sotomayor live in years. I mean, it felt weird, like damn, I forgot what this was like, right? And he was just going off. The nigga stole my style, and he was trying to relate itself to like, peep first individuals who was first. Like he brought Kurt Flood up, he brought somebody else up, right? And he was trying to say they don't pay homage to me. It's because of me. All these dudes is, and I say that all the time. I say that Tommy Sotomayor birthed all this shit, right? I've never not said that Tommy Sotomayor wasn't kind of like the godfather of this whole black YouTube sector, right? But what Tommy is trying to say is that Kevin Samuels took his style and used it, right? And now he's transforming into something else. Like he's trying to find so many keywords and so many things. Man, what is wrong? Um, he's trying to find all these different things. Hold on, people. I gotta take this phone call. It's really important. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yo, my bad, my bad. That was really important call I had to take. I apologize. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so like, Tommy, Tommy, it's like for me, it's weird that he's having like and it's crazy, right? Because Kevin Samuel, Donovan Sharp was showing a video of his interview with Kevin Samuels, and what Tommy was trying to say was, like these guys are they successful, they're getting money, women, and all this off of my style, off of what I did, off of what I created, and it's kind of like he's jealous of it. It's kind of weird because it's like Kevin ain't. I asked him to come on my show. He said if he got time, and he was just upset. He felt like Kevin was dissing him and all this and that. And it's like I think this that British dude that's always on Jessica X's channel or like the British dude that be in the spaces with us. I don't know his name. He was on with me and BMT one day on Bomb Cherry's channel. Um, and this guy, he came on and he just explained to Tommy, like, listen, man, like you're too toxic. Like your brand is too toxic for time for Kevin to take a chance and tarnish his brand with bringing you on. It's not beneficial to him. Like so you know what it is. So Tommy pretty much knows why he's never been invited to Kevin's show, right? Like it's no secret why he's never been invited. But I think Tommy is like, and like what we're seeing is a lot of these YouTubers that's like blowing up and they're seeing their peers blow up more than them. It's almost like, you know, like you guys shouldn't be there. Like I should be in that spot or you should be thanking me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't get that. Like, I don't get why he feels as though they should be thanking him. Like, dog, you're the originator of the shit. If anything, you should be proud. You should sit back and be like, wow, look what I produced. I produced an environment where black men and women are becoming successful off of doing something that I picked up 10 plus years ago to do, right? I don't get what he's upset about. Like I don't get why he's so mad and why he feels like, you know, somebody's dissing him or I mean, to me it's showing a sign of weakness. Like it's like you're upset that they're successful, like they shouldn't be successful. Like he feels like he should be successful and they shouldn't be. It's kind of weird. It's kind of and then to have Donovan on at the same time and like he's trying to argue with Donovan Sharp and text him about some shit that didn't happen 5 months ago. So he's taking shots at both of them simultaneously. So while he's talking shit about Kevin, he's emailing and texting Donovan and Donovan's responding on his live, which is just a recording of a video he did with Kevin Samuels. So it's like these guys make a living off of talking about black fuckery, right? Like they make a living off that shit. Like they make a living off, talking about the dysfunction in the black community. And then just all he had a hissy fit, right? Telling them they should listen to me. I should get credit. Nigga stole my style, and I was the one who told everybody that a fat bitch can't get a nigga with money and all. Like, and it's like he doesn't get that people can put out the same information in a different way, and that's not to say that they're stealing from you, right? They may have the same angst and the same animus towards a particular environment just like you do, and they watched you, right, do it a certain way, and they said, well, I can't do it that way. Peace, Miss FedEx, welcome back, love. We had shouted you out, but it was cricket, so we figured you was coming back a little later, right? Like, so instead of him looking at it as, wow, I'm the godfather of something that's becoming mainstream, he's looking at it like, give me my roses while I'm alive, right? Like he wants to interrupt Kevin Samuels' success to say, thank me for your success, right? Like Kevin Samuels, it's the same thing you see in our space, like the same thing you see with the Manosphere. You see a lot of them saying, like Kevin Samuels owes us something, or that man don't owe nobody nothing. Like I don't know if y'all like a lot of people don't know like these YouTube channels, they're not like hard, but it takes a lot of work to do this. Like this is not easy work. Like you got to put in some work to do this. So if he's getting up, putting in the work, and he's doing the research, and he's doing the interviews, and he's dealing with them people, he don't owe his success to anybody else. Now he can thank you for opening up the lane or providing, you know. I look at it like this. I look at it as Tommy Sotomayor created a genre, right? A music genre, right? And the music genre is called BFF, right? Or even BPFF, black people fuckery, or black female fuckery, right? Excuse my language. And the thing is, he created a genre, and now when other artists are taking a genre and they're flipping it and bouncing it and they're adding their own unique twist to it, he's saying, oh, you stole my soul, you stole my style, you stole this from me, instead of saying, right, you just took what I did to another level. Just a hater. Like, he got to get that hate out of his blood, because at this point it's just hate. He like, he goes to the numbers, like Donovan only got 540 something people and I got three. I mean, just overly arrogant, right? Like, just overly arrogant, just very emotional, very, just out of pocket. Like, when grown men seek to add to take claim or take success of another grown man's ambitions and endeavors, like, that's crazy to me. Like that's the highest form of egomania you could see, where another man is like, well, your success belongs to me, nigga. Like, that's crazy to me. When like, you was just as big as him, if not bigger, but your style, your shit is what brought you down. You're not where he's at because you're just toxic, bro. Like, you're just extremely toxic, and you're trying to act like you don't know why you're not where you're at. So now you're mad at these guys, and you're saying, "Hey, Kevin Samuels, you fucking owe me." I mean, it was just crazy to listen to. Like, and the people calling, "Yeah, man," and they're trying to correlate certain sayings and certain things, and they're just really trying to make this connection that Kevin Samuels is somehow a Tommy Sotomayor replica. Now, I think that for sure it's the same format. For sure it's but he just flipped it and bounced it a little different. He just put a suit and tie on it. Where you're trying to do the raggedy white dude, don't gotta wear anything. I could just be who I am. You know what I mean? Wear my nostalgia shirts and show I'm a Gen Xer, and this is my uniform. Right? But with that uniform and with that style of how you do it, you're gonna attract a particular crowd that's attracted to that. You're not gonna have light skinned bras that's in the party talking about where the ball is at. They're not gonna be in your chat. You're gonna get stragglers. You're gonna get hanger-ons. You're gonna get that second, third tier, but you're not gonna attract the crowd like he's attracted, because even when he talks about it, his Eurocentric style, things of that nature. If you notice, you got people with British accents, all type of people that's defending them because of the Eurocentric idea of it, and they can relate to it. And Tommy just wants some, hate and shit. Like, I mean, the hate in this community is so crazy, and then they try to disguise it as something else. He's trying to disguise his hate as as a um as a brother that's saying, man, you stole my style, right? Like, you biting, right? And he didn't bite off you. Like, he doesn't do his show nowhere like you, bro. So for me, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. I think he wants the homely downward look, and he thinks that he doesn't think that he needs to evolve or do something different. He thinks that his same traction that he got before needs to carry him and continue to carry him and take him where he need to be, and that might not be it. And just because somebody else took it to a whole nother level. Nah, I'm not shocked by a Psycho. Matter of fact, man, when you got some time, man, if you want to come on up, man, we could chop it up, man. You know what I'm saying? Cause you more matter of fact, Psycho, I'm gonna drop the link. Come on and jump up if you got a minute. You got a minute, Psycho? Let me know if you got a minute, bro. All right, I'll give you about 10. All right, I try to rock. But yeah, so it was just it was weird because I mean he was literally trying to and it's the thing of right. They have brought up Minister Jap, you know, they have brought up other people and they had talked about, you know, how, you know what I'm saying? The only person he didn't mention was O'Shea. Like he talked about other people, Steve, not even Steve the Dean, Alpha Male Strategies. I guess just that crowd, because I'm not familiar with any of them. I'm when once Donovan Sharp and ALR and O'Shea stopped doing their shit, you know, whatever that shit was called, right? Once they stopped doing that, I never would ever go to a Donovan Sharp channel. I find nothing appealing about, so I would never. I've never even heard of Alpha Male Strategies. Never listened to him. I've never actually listened to a Steve the Dean. Right. I've never even went to his channel. Right. But my thing is, I know I'm speaking about this today because I know Tommy Sotomayor brought me to this space. Right. Me listening to him and just being like perplexed by what he was saying. And then I just ended up in this rabbit hole. And it's crazy, right? Because the next place I ended up was Psycho's channel. And I don't even know how I got there. Like, I was listening to Tommy, and then Psycho was in the suggestion box. And then I had kind of seen the Nork thing in the. So I was like, oh, he's from Jersey. So I clicked it, and I've been here ever since. Like, I heard RBR. I just remember that day like it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? That shit was crazy. And then I just was in it. I clicked on RBR's channel, then I started going there, and then I just started listening to other people, and then I just started floating around, you know what I'm saying? But I know that Tommy Sotomayor was the reason that I came here. So to listen to him feel like, and for me, it's like if he just sit back and just think a little bit, and he could be like a proud father, like, but he a proud hater, right? Like you can sit back and be like, wow, look what I did. Like I created a space where black people felt comfortable. I mean, think about this. We all got our channels, you know what I'm saying? We all started our channels based off of having the confidence by watching him, whether it was to counter his argument, whether it was to continue his argument, whether it was just to find a different argument. He was the catalyst for it. And instead of him having the self reflection and the humility, right, to see like, damn, I created something. And instead of him capitalizing off of it, he's just gonna sink it. As like he's just gonna shoot at other motherfuckers just to make it messy again. Like it's like he feel like the only way he's successful if he's making it messy. Like he can't just be legitimately, like legitimately happy, or not even happy, but legitimately like, okay, a person is doing what they got to do and not hating on them. Like he literally was just hating on these dudes yesterday because they didn't bring him on, or they don't show him enough reverence and shit like that. And I'm trying to understand, like, why are men so big on other men showing them reverence, or other men, you know, showing them, you know what I mean, yeah, reverence, right? Like I got you here, like show me, give me my flowers while I'm alive. And the thing is, who doesn't give Tommy Sotomayor his flowers? Like who doesn't know that he's the godfather of this space? And the thing is, right, and if the people were really thinking, like, you know how many networks and how many media channels and media thing, like everybody talk that shit about Roland Martin, but Roland Martin is figuring this shit out, right? Like he got his shit pumping all day, episode after. Roland Martin done figured out how to put reruns on YouTube, right? Like, because that's what he do. Roland Martin puts reruns on YouTube. So instead of a dude like Tommy figuring it out like that, like he wants to bring everybody down and nuke the space and just be him alone. Like that's crazy to me. Like it's like these guys, the ones that get jealous and be screaming and be calling everybody beneath them. It's like they just want to. It's like you got to be toxic and savage like them in order for you to be, brought into their shit. Like these guys are talented, they are smart guys, but it's not like their formula was this complex thing. Their formula was literally highlighting shit that they didn't like about black women, black men, and black children. Like that's the formula. Like it ain't complex. right? But what you do is you add your twist to it. So Tommy, your twist is, let me show you that beautiful beam footage, and you try to add this hybrid. I'm not black. You can't tie me down. I like a lot of things. I'm multicultural individual. Like, my blackness doesn't speak for me. I like Voltron. I like Marvel. Right? Like, I'm knowledgeable about a lot of things. So that common folk, image that you give is what you're gonna get back. Is what people gonna think of you is, right? So that's the uniform you use to do black people fuckery, where Kevin Samuels puts on a Eurocentric metrosexual outfit and uniform, and then he presents the same thing, but he does it through mating. He does it through science, through fashion, right? Through styling, right? He talks about if you get this particular style, you'll attract this particular person. If you get this particular lifestyle, you'll attract these particular riches and these particular elements and environments. Right, where Tommy is saying you can get the bread like me, stack your bread, or you could be a bummy like me, nigga like me, and women still gonna fly in. But the women that's flying in is probably bummy and dusty just like you. Right? Like, you know what I mean? And then flip it and bounce it, and 2 months later say you gave him a sexual transmitted disease. So y'all not the same. Like, y'all not the same. He not the same. Like, I don't get where he thinks they're the same. I don't think where he gets there the same. Psycho, what's up, bro? You gotta unmute your mic, bro.
Peace. What's going on?
What's going on, big bro? How you today?
I can't call it. Just up here getting some stuff together and everything for later. What's the word?
Yo, I was just checking out Tommy yesterday, man, and he was like spazzing out. He was going through something, you know what I mean, as far as like him not receiving his flowers, because that's like the saying nowadays, right? Like, give me my flowers while I'm alive, right? And my thing is, does he realize, like, does he ever have any humility or self-reflection to think back, like, yo, I created this, like, damn, look what I created. But instead he tries to like kill all of the babies. He, you know what I'm saying? Like, he once they become successful, he wants to chop the head off. So what you think, bro?
Well, this is part of the course for Tabby. This part of the course. Like, this is how he got big on YouTube, is attacking people, right? Like I said, he created the B sector. When I say he created the B sector and the gender banging sector, I meant that. I think I told you that last time I was up here when I was breaking down how all these sectors are and they different and who started what and everything else. Yeah, Tammy started the whole B sector and the gender banging sector, right? Because he came in with the gender banging stuff, and because Tammy's a professional troll. Do not get it twisted. He's a professional troll. You can't really spin him to be anything other than that, because that's just what he does. And he started off, talking his little shit, whatever, bringing over his little white manosphere talking points and everything else, attacking black women with these talking points and everything, blah, 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 blah. And, he started, certain people started listening and everything. But what really blew him up was he started beefing with all the other YouTubers. And one of his infamous beefs was with Phil from the Vibe Show. Phil from the Vibe Show came around. They both started around the same time. But Phil from the Vibe Show, he does his shit a little bit different. Now he does shit way different today than he did back then. Back then, he was just sitting at his kitchen table, just hitting record and everything else, and just reviewing World Star hip hop videos, right? That's pretty much what both of them was doing. They both was in the same lane as far as they would take World Star hip hop videos and then just commentate on them, right?
So
like that's pretty much how.
Phil so let me get this right. Phil started off as a black fuckery person too.
Oh yeah. Oh, listen. This is why I rip Phil. This is why I always say he's fake. He's phony. He's not. Listen, you can go back some of my old streams of me ripping him about his newfound pro-blackness, because he used to call black women hyenas. And
he's fucking serious, bro.
Yeah, he's always called black women hyenas all the fucking time. That was his name for them. He used to talk greasy about them while he got his little Latino wife over there. and this, that, and the third, talking shit about black people. He was cooning. We need to get ourselves. We need to focus on us, and talking these same bullshit ass talking points. And then out of nowhere, around the Hillary Clinton Trump election, that's when he flipped. That's when all of a sudden he wanted to speak on black issues and start representing pro-blackness and everything else. And he kind of found the lane then, because around 2015, it was cool to be pro-black in 2015. That it ain't cool to be pro-black today, but in 2015, it was cool to be pro-black. And a lot of people was jumping on the pro-black train around that time. And and that he him being a grifter, he jumped on the train. I don't want to make this too much about Phil. But
listen, I'm enjoying this because it's making sense, right? And I like you're giving me history. Like, I mean, if you want to chop it down a little bit, but I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm fine with it because it all for me, it's like back information, right? So it kind of helps me understand better. You know what I'm saying? Because I never knew that about Phil. Like, I never knew.
Oh, Phil's a grifter. He's a grifter. He's a grifter.
I know he's a grifter, but I didn't know he flipped it, and I didn't know.
Oh yeah, he started off talking all the same shit these other motherfuckers talk. Same shit. Go grab a World Star Hip Hop video, review it, and talk about how fucked up black people are. That same shit they do. Like, they created that model. Like, that model you see a lot of people doing today. Like, they created that whole model of grabbing the buzz viral video and just start commenting on it because the videos are viral and people want to talk about these viral videos. So they created that lane, back then because nobody was doing that before them. Now, I get credit's due. Like, they was, early pioneers of that, but I don't respect that as content though. Me personally, I don't really respect that as. I think it's just bullshit. I think it's clout chasing to a certain degree to me.
And
but
that's what he was doing last night. That's what he was doing last night. He was.
Yep. I'm about to get into. That's why I say I really want to get back on Tommy because I don't want to focus on Phil too much. But Tammy, like, now when he came in with the mainstream talk points, everything else, like, he was getting some heat, right? He was getting the heat that he wanted and everything else, from the women and everything, and he was rallying the troops with the brothers and this, that, and the third, and slowly but surely the gender banging lane was starting to formulate around Tommy. This, that, and the third. And but he would also attack other YouTubers. And one main YouTuber he would attack was Phil. And they had a long back and forth. He used to call him Mr. Swole Fat and all this other shit, this, that, and the third. Like, to this day, Phil still hates Tammy. Like, he don't want to talk about him, he don't want to talk to him, nothing. He don't want nothing to do with Tammy. So they beef started years. I'm talking like 10 years ago. Like, they started beefing. So Tammy started doing all that, and Tammy formed this whole beef sector through doing that, like attacking other YouTubers. And if somebody made a video disagreeing with him, he'd just start, here come the Ether videos. I don't know if you know anything about the Ether videos, but I don't even know if he still does them. But he used to do these little Ether videos where he just go live and throw on the Ether music and then start roasting motherfuckers. Just start roasting the shit out of motherfuckers with the Ether music playing in the background.
That's we got the Ether music playing in the background. He talks
right. He started doing that, and everybody loved that, and everybody wanted more Ether videos. So people used to look for people that made videos about, oh look, Tommy, this person made a video about you. Ether him. Like, so this is how the roast sector started. The roast sector started from Tommy doing all these fucking Ether videos on all these other YouTubers. And that became a thing. That became an actual lane. Former Tammy, if you go look at that beef sector over there, all of them are former Tammy listeners. All of them used to I heard you earlier say everybody. I heard you earlier say everybody comes from Tammy. No, everybody does not come from Tammy shit. Everybody in that beef sector does, and everybody in that gender banging sector does. Like most of their origins, if they've been around long enough, not new people. I'm talking about people that's been around for X amount of time. If you've been around for X amount of time and you floating around these circles, you come from Tammy. You a former listener. I don't care if you support Tammy. I don't care if you a supporter or a detractor.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Exactly. So he formed that whole beef sector, and he formed that whole gender banging sector. And can't nobody take that away from Tommy. And my whole thing is I heard some of the things Tommy was saying yesterday because somebody was saying he over there going ham on Kevin. So I went to go hear. I wasn't too shocked. It was only a matter of time. Kevin was getting too much attention, And Tommy don't like when other people are getting attention other than him.
Right. So, and that's what I was saying. That was my whole thing. It's like, you can't, there is nothing you could do right now. Like he was trolling. Listen, bro, he was trolling Donovan Sharp at the same time. Like he was because Donovan Sharp was showing a video on his channel of him doing an interview with Kevin Samuels, right? So he's trolling Kevin Samuels and Donovan Sharp at the same time. Like just taking shots at their numbers, like, oh, it's only 600 people in Donovan Sharp's live. It's 3,000 in mine. So who?
Yeah, but Kevin Samuels be having over 20.
Listen.
And that's why he's going ham on Kevin Samuels, because he's looking like, because that's what Tommy always wanted. Tommy don't realize, Tammy. Now, even though he's right when he says, now, I ain't saying he's like, Kevin has not bitten his style, right? Let's get that clear. Like, I agree with what you're saying. Like, they are not doing shit. They are not the same. They're not focused on the exact same thing. Like, Kevin Lane is not coonery, even though he does be soft shoe cooning sometimes. That's not his thing, right? He's more about talking to the women. Right, he want to talk to the women and belittle the women, right? That's his lane. Right. Tommy, that ain't Tommy's lane. Tommy is just a bash, beret, and coon it up for white people and all this other. Like Tommy's just crazy. Like Kevin Samuels is kind of nicey, right? He like if they, if it's a grown ass man that fits in the nicey lane.
Excellent label, nicey. That's
that's what he is, right? You know what I mean? So like that's kind of what Kevin Samuels is, and Tammy has never been nicey. He's been completely disgusted with some of the behavior he has exhibited over the years.
Yeah.
So
this British guy, I know you don't be in spaces like that, but it's this British guy that be on GMT channel sometimes. Like he called in and he told Tommy, he was like, listen, man, you toxic. There's no fucking way in hell Kevin's bring you on his channel to fuck up his brand. He's not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, and I know you know what it is. He's like, I know that's what it is, but nigga just tell me that. Like he pretty much told
but
me
you already know.
Busy,
you already know. Why you up in your feelings? Tammy knows he's mad and he's angry. He's never going to be mainstream. He went up to New York the weekend he got punched in the face up at Shy Netta's event. He was up in New York like the day before or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah,
outside the
Hot 97 or
Power begging begging these fuckers for a fucking interview. Yeah. Like I'm in town. Nobody act like they don't want to talk to me, but I'm in town. Fuck y'all. Yeah. Y'all act like y'all know who I am. Y'all know who I am. Motherfucker, if you don't get your ass, if they wanted to interview you, they would have interviewed you. You're toxic, bro. Nobody wants nothing to do with you. How you just going? And they don't do pop-up visits, you dumb motherfucker. They professionals. You can't just pop up like, yo, I'm here, interview me. No, motherfucker, they got motherfuckers lined up for weeks ago that's going to be interviewed today. They ain't going to just cancel a motherfucker who flew in town for only 2 days and they scheduled this interview 3 weeks in advance. Like, and they going to talk to you?
It's like Martin showing up at the Vernell what's-the-name show.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is like, dog,
right?
He's always had this grandiose, false sense of importance. And like I said, I give him credit for what it is. He started 2 toxic ass lanes on YouTube. If he wants credit for that, fine, whatever. You can have credit because you did start that gender banging lane, toxic. You did start that beef sector lane, more toxic. So like you directly affected the most toxic sectors in this motherfucking space. You are direct effect. That's the direct effect from you. Now, if you want that label, you got it. Now, at the end of the day, you can't get mad because motherfuckers get up here and figured out how to do what the fuck you did better than you. You could have been that guy because you started that. You started a lot of this shit, but you decided to take the shock jock lane.
And let me ask you a quick question then. Do you think that he wants to go on their channels to be toxic and bring their shit down? Do you think that that's his thing?
Tammy wants attention. Tammy wants it. He's mad. People are other people are talking about other motherfuckers besides him. He's mad. He wants that attention. That's always been with him. He's jealous. Tammy is the most jealous YouTuber on this motherfucker. Do not get it twisted.
Let me ask you insecure. Let me ask you a quick question, real serious. Now, if Kevin wasn't getting some of the white exposure that he's getting, do you think Tommy would have cared? If Kevin shit
No,
stayed
no.
strictly with black people and
But
it was just beef and
let me get to
Satan
that.
kind of guys. Yeah, go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, let me get to that real quick. That's another thing. I think it's the opposite of what you just said, and I'm about to break it down. Most motherfuckers, right? Now, I said this years ago. I said this like back in like 2018. I said this, and I remember going back and forth with certain people back then. They didn't agree with me. Today they see it and they don't argue with me about it. But back in 2018, I told motherfuckers, I'm like, why are y'all still talking about Tammy right now in 2018? Like that was so 2011 and 2012. Like y'all ain't evolved with the times. Like y'all might want to look around, but if you go in Tammy's chat, a lot of these motherfuckers up in his chat ain't even black. He's not even really promoted a lot around about black people. Like this is around the time when the Obsidians and the Black Manosphere and all this stuff was really starting to make it, their name was starting to start buzzing a little bit more. People was talking about them and everything else. And the Manosphere, even though they're kind of Tammy's bastard kids, they grew independent of him, right? They separated from that Tammy shit and they started trying to formulate something based on the premise of what Tammy was trying to do, but not in the same way, right? They started, like Tammy kind of was just over there just freestyling, just trying to say the most absurd coonery shit he could find, while other they were actually was trying to do like Obsidian. One thing, people could love Obsidian, hate Obsidian. Obsidian approaches this on a professional level, right? Like Obsidian actually tries to do a show. Like you actually listen to Obsidian's show, he actually attempts to do an actual show, right? I always give him credit for that, right? Like he gets up there, he talks about he'll give you the weather, he'll give you the time of the day it is currently, it's like, it's 27 minutes past the hour, blah, 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 and everything else. Like he approaches it on a professional level. Tammy is not professional.
Yeah,
Tammy is ratchet as shit.
I agree.
He's very ratchet and everything else. And the Manosphere was trying to get away from the ratchet aspect of things. It was trying to represent the quote unquote educated black man, right? Like Tammy doesn't try to do that whole educated black man shit. Tammy ghetto as shit. He's ratchet as fuck, and that's just what it is. He tries to play this intellectual shit, but he's ratchet. That's it. Bottom line. And so the Manosphere tried to do some other shit.
It's a weird white ratchet. Right, like it's like a weird,
right,
like black and white hybrid ratchet.
Right now, and what happened was, like a lot of black people stopped. A lot of his fan base kind of slowly drifted away from listening to him and started listening more to like the Obsidians, the O'Sheas, and the it's that and third. And I'm seeing these motherfuckers growing, and I'm seeing them growing independent of Tammy and everything else. And the more I'm watching, I'm like, I'm looking at Tammy, and I'll go look at Tammy shit, and I just see mad white people up in this shit. And I'm like, Tammy is losing his black base. Like most of Tammy's base now is majority white people. And I think what he's trying to do is, because if you look at Kevin Samuels shit, that's mainly black people. It's mainly black people that's in Kevin's shit. Now he has some white people, but it's mainly, by and large, it's black people that watches Kevin Samuels. So he has a black audience by and large. Tammy can't say that. Tammy doesn't have a by and large black audience. He has a mixed audience that's probably leaning more towards white because of all his wild, absurd, conservative views and everything else. He got more of a Brandon Tatum type audience. You feel what I'm saying? So that's a more ratchet version of it, right? Like so he wants that black audience back. He feels like he lost his chokehold on the black audience. He wants them black people to come back over to his shit. Okay, that's why he's attacking.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense because if you think about it, he was doubling back to deal with Donovan and Kevin, which you can say probably did take a substantial chunk out of his black audience, right? Because when you talk about an O'Shea, right, like O'Shea, Donovan, and LAR, when they popped off with their shit, you know what I'm saying? I think they took some of his fan base too. Right, because Donovan was real contrite against black women, and had when they call in, he would go right into his Tommy Sotomayor routine, like, "Oh, you black bitch." Blah, blah, blah,
yeah, he's more Tommy than Kevin Samuels. He's more Tommy than Kevin Samuels.
And so he definitely. So if you would have seen the live yesterday, he was literally arguing with Donovan, right, as he was giving his beef about Kevin Samuels, literally. at the same time.
I
So it
saw
makes
one part where
sense.
he was showing some messages or something or
Yeah, he was
whatever.
showing the text messages and the emails
Yeah,
between
yeah.
Donovan about appearing on Donovan's show. But
It seemed
Donovan
like
was like,
David backed out. Seemed
yeah,
like he
because he
backed
wanted
out,
money. Tommy wanted money, right?
which
And
is
Donovan was
insane. Yeah, he
right,
can go
right.
fuck
So
himself.
Donovan was like, I'll do like I do to other guys. I'll fly you in or some shit like that. But like, you telling your lawyer to send the contract. Like, so Tommy took the thing, oh, this niggas don't want to do business. This is business. And it's like, no, this ain't really business. It's just us, trying to promote each other to big each other up. So, it's
Yeah, you
kind
getting a free flight out there. Did he get offer him a room too? You offering him a room and flight?
of room and everything. Let me bring Renaissance in real quick. Renaissance, go ahead and unmute yourself, bro. Talk to me.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Psycho?
What's
What's
up?
up, Arthur? No,
Good
I
morning,
was just,
bro.
Peace.
hey, good morning. No, I was just catching up. I saw you had the link in the chat, so I just wanted to come up, because I know I know you don't like to rock solo, so I wanted to come up and give my piece. Now I missed the part so just to catch up quickly. So Tommy actually, like, did he call into a show or he just sort of did a video dissing them?
Either one of them wouldn't let him rock, right? He was trying to get their attention, but Donovan was just like talking shit to him, but like, through the chat. And then isn't Donovan girl named Devin? Like his girlfriend is
Yeah,
named Devin,
yeah,
right? So she
yeah.
was his wife, rather. She was in there as well. So they both just taking shots at Tommy, and then Kevin Samuels just didn't even fucking engage him at all. Like, man, fuck you.
No,
I mean, like,
it's funny because I've learned about, like you said, I heard about Tommy probably around that same time, 2011, 2012. But when he when he was doing his thing, even back then, I always took it as he was trying to appeal to a white audience. I've never thought of Tommy as having a truly black audience because, I mean, he just goes too far out of bounds with the stuff. Like, it's one thing to be critical, but it's another thing to just sit up here and spew like just straight up self-hate on the internet like that. So I always thought Tommy was gonna have, a lot of either white racists or just, white people who want a good show, showing up. And I remember O'Shea did a video a long time ago talking about, why he stayed in the black sector of YouTube, because he looked at, Tommy said something. And like all these, I guess a lot of the white fans in this chat basically, were calling them out and dissing them and all this. And I think, had some racial slurs going on over there too. So I was just like, I always thought Tommy was just playing that card. And I think it's kind of funny now that if you kind of in competition with these people who you could argue are kind of running the same game. I don't listen to Kevin Samuels really like that. He doesn't seem like to go to the extreme that Tommy does, though. I mean, he does check and call out some of these women who are delusional, but he doesn't seem wrapped up as much in the self-hate as Tommy is.
Yeah, see, that's the thing
Right,
with Tommy.
right.
Like Tommy don't understand. Like, your whole platform is trauma raging, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're raging on your early traumas, people calling you crispy, all that. So it's different. And the thing is, right, like, it's crazy how he wants his black audience back. That in itself is like kind of weird, right? Where it's like you did all you could to kind of alienate us and kind of push us away, you know what I'm saying? And now you want it back because the white people ain't holding you up no more, because it ain't really no environment for that, right? Like, they don't want to be known as racist and bigots and shit, and they could go start their own channel to be that way. They don't necessarily got to live vicariously through you to be to hate black people anymore. They could kind of do it on their own. You know what I'm saying?
So Psycho, Tommy did start out in the Black Manosphere, though?
No, the Black Manosphere is a spinoff from Tommy's channel. That's what happened. Like they all started off listening to Tommy. They all would listen to Tommy. Then they started making content, and they all kind of decided to form up like Voltron and make this own little sector or whatever. And because they initially was trying to get away from all the white people, right? They was trying to get away from white people, and they would never get away from the white people on Tommy shit. Because Tommy, like you were just saying, his rhetoric attracts white people to his channel. So they was at the time they was trying to formulate their own little sector or whatever. I got my own reasons why I think that is too. With some of them, I think a lot of that had to do with the white manosphere really wasn't feeling motherfuckers over there hyper focusing on only black women, and kind of like because they would bash black women but big up white women. and those white men problems ain't with black women. They problems with white women. So you over here, so they over there bigging up the same woman that they started that whole manosphere thing to bash on, which is white women. So you over there praising white women, but you bashing black women. It's like, whoa, that so
Yeah,
that
like
weird.
Yeah.
like you already about to motherfucking what's bait and switch over here. Like y'all gonna leave us these raggedy black women and take our
Yeah,
white
it'd
girls.
be like a white man. It'd be like a white man running up in the manosphere. It'd be like a white man running up in the manosphere, attacking the fuck out of Becky, but bigging up Shaquita and all them and everything else.
Hey,
Talking about how much he loves it.
Hey,
Like,
Psycho,
it does.
that trailer hood motherfucker you was with the other day. That's what he does because he was saying some shit. I was so upset with you too, Psycho. Like Psycho, don't
What I
ride
do?
with this piece of shit trailer hood motherfucker. I mean, you wasn't riding with him. You know what I mean? But man, fuck
right,
that
what
motherfucker.
do you mean?
Man.
What do you mean?
When the weirdo Mormon dude was on there and the way he was.
Oh, the other night.
Oh,
yeah. The other night, yeah. I was on my shit. I was on my interrogation shit. I was interrogating
that was
the Mormon.
Funny though. That was funny.
Now, what channel were you on? Because it sounds like you, Arthur, you and Psycho, you all go to places where you attract other people outside of even the black community to go and talk.
Oh, I float around. Yeah, I float around.
We be everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like getting stuck in these little, especially these gender banging spaces. I don't really mess around those because I know the arguments over there. It's all circular and redundant. The same stuff they was talking about 4 years ago. They talking about now. They just rephrased it. They just rephrased it a different way. Like it was the same conversation. I can't listen to that stuff 24/7. I don't know how people do it. Like no. So I go find more interesting things, which means, and I like to have my views challenged. I like for people to push back on my views. So I can, I feel like you can't formulate a solid worldview if you don't invite it to be challenged and pushed back on. So,
absolutely. And guys in the black manosphere ain't open to that. You come in there and try to challenge that viewpoint, and people go crazy.
Yeah, they get right about it.
Right.
But yeah, we be around white people who want us to put our blackness down, right, and challenge everything that we say. I mean, a lot of these people are probably Tommy supporters on the low, but they found like the place we go to, my man Mo, he's not as extreme as Tommy, but it's that same kind of strain, right? You know what I'm saying? Conservative strain, but Mo just a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Mo ain't like all crazy like that. You know what I mean? He has some right-wing ideas or whatever, but as a human being, he's a decent human being. Where Tommy,
he came on the panel with. Yeah, he came on the panel with me yesterday. We were on D. Darrell's talking about the whole Kurt Franklin situation.
Yeah, I talked about that yesterday on my channel. What y'all think about that? I talked about that the other day. What y'all think about that? How y'all feel about that? Because for me, it was weird, right? Because as a father, I go through that with my two sons and my adult kids, right? So it was just weird. And I feel like, the young man, his plan backfired because he thought he was going to get this sympathy from society. And what he realized is it's a lot of parents out there that can rock with co-sign what the hell Kurt Franklin going through. So it backfired.
Yeah.
He really tried to cancel his father, like literally.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you before you went there, Arthur, back real quick on the Tommy thing. How has Tommy maintained his audience when you always saying, like when I listen to Tommy and it's like, there's a guy who exposed him for having kids and being a deadbeat dad and all this. And like, I'm like, he's just as ratchet as the women he complains about. And I'm like, but you get a following off that. That's what's crazy to me.
Yeah, he's the most ratchet YouTuber on here. He's been that since he's been here. And it's funny because his whole audience is built on hating ratchet people. Like not even just the females. They talk shit about the thugs on the block and all this other everything else. They against the black community, like all the quote unquote what RBR would consider the bottom 1% or whatever the case may be, the alley folk. Right? Like, but he's from the alley. He exudes the alley. Like just listen to how he was acting yesterday. He was acting like an emotional ratchet female. That was jealous as hell. That the girl down the street got the same dress, but she looked better in it. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I said. You mad at the cats down the street because they got the better product. And instead of you making your product better, now you calling 911 on them. You telling the fiends that's walking down there, that stuff ain't no good. I'm the king of this block. I started this block. y'all don't want to buy off me. Y'all ain't gonna buy off nobody. Like that's what and you're calling it perfectly, Psycho. He's showing the world that he's the true ratchet one, right? Like what he's telling y'all we are, he's actually the living embodiment of it. But y'all not paying attention because he keeps pointing to us. So while he's pointing to us, y'all can't see it for yourself. But black people can see it. That's why his numbers is so terrible. Because black people you're a hypocrite.
Yeah, no, I'll never forget the video I saw where Tommy got into a wreck with another black woman, just like a small fender bender. And he got out and just like, you could just tell he was provoking this woman, calling her a bitch and all of this. And I'm just like, she just got out and got her paperwork with like, hey, it's an accident. And, he looked bad in it. And then he tried to make a video like a day later talking about, I was mad because this woman cut me off and, the tires on my truck that cost $80,000, got me. And I'm just like,
did you see all the people that
you got insurance, bro? Yeah, and the crazy part about it, he
defended him. Like,
he said he told that woman, I got something in the trunk for you.
Right.
He literally told that woman, I got something in the trunk for you. I'm like, bruh, seriously? And you know that's why he got punched in the face in New York, right? Because that same incident right there, right?
For sure.
He got caught out here. He got caught out in Harlem.
That life, show us what's up.
Yeah.
And what he do on that? Called the cops. Went straight to 911.
He ain't talk all that crazy stuff to a grown ass man.
Black bitch, what? Go ahead, bitch, make a move. And I'm just watching. And see, that's why I couldn't understand why he became popular. Like, who's co-signing some bitch ass shit like that? Like, that's what I don't understand about his popularity. Like, for me, that was a moment where people were, oh man, look at this dude. But it seemed like it blew him up. It seemed like instead of that shit taking him out, it kind of made him a folk hero a little bit. But see, that's where I go back to my saying. See, he stood up to a black woman. He pegged the black woman down. And see, now I can see where he can think that him and Kevin Samuels is the same on that level because they do, they both are into taking down black women. Like, I mean, y'all could disagree, people could disagree, but that's what they get their claim to fame from coming for black women, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, like I said, the times I've listened to Kevin, he at least sounds reasonable in his assessment. I mean, granted, people like D. Darrell, who's a therapist, have said, some things he's saying when he starts advocating for like relationship type stuff is superficial and it's not going to last long term, which I can agree with. But when he when I've heard him like have women call into his show, he is kind of like, hey, this is what a normal man would tell you if he was being honest, in the sense of, hey, if you're 35 with, 4 or 5 kids, talking about, I want a dude that's high value and, quote unquote, high value, the chances of you getting that are unlikely because this same guy that you chasing going to have a bunch of women who don't have all that.
Can I be honest with this? Can I be
about options?
What woman with 3 or 4 kids in reality, like in all reality, what woman is really thinking like that?
A lot in these spaces, a lot, bro. A lot of women feel like they can start over at 40 and everything. Like, this whole culture now, 30s to do 20, 40s to do 30. Like they feel like they can, like the kids is and by the time people are like in their 40s, a lot of times their kids are either grown or damn near grown.
Now,
so
see, that's a different thing. Now I could see a woman who's in her 40s and her kids are grown and she may want a better mate in her older life. I can see that, right? Because you're an empty nester, right? And you can pretty much your finances don't really gotta be broken down. You don't really have a lot of responsibilities. So I can see that.
But could that person get a high quality? Could that person get a high value man still?
Yeah.
And that's the question. Some probably can, depending on the woman, right?
It's depending on her, like how she packages herself, how she presents herself, right? That will determine her value on the market, right?
Right. And it also depends on what the man's looking for, because a lot of men, because a lot of men at that age, if they are men of means, so to speak, quote unquote, a lot of those dudes are looking for something younger. They're looking for something younger. About if they in their 40s, probably looking for somebody in their early 30s, right? Some of them looking in their 20s. Some of them want women in their 20s and their 40s.
Do y'all want that?
I don't. I could never. Me personally, I could never be with a woman who's even close to my daughter's age. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. If you're close to my daughter's age, I can't fuck with you. I can't do that.
No, I was about to say I can't speak too much because I'm only 31. But I hear where Psycho's coming from. Where okay, if you're 40, to me, wanting a woman who's like 22, okay, to me that's kind of like okay, y'all gonna be in different phases of life. Even I can see that at my age. But if you're a dude who's 40 and you want a woman who's say 30, 31, even 30, that 30, 35 ish, that I could definitely see dudes wanting that just because you can still kind of be in the same phase of life, but at the same time get a woman who's younger than you.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't understand that a high quality man, right? A man's man who got himself together or got it from the mud and all this and that. 9 times out of 10, he wants a quality woman, an older quality woman. He don't really want no Jezebel, no young a person who's trying to reinvent themselves or get over a 30-year marriage or some shit like that. Yeah, they may want to reinvent themselves that way, but a man's man who's like really just trying to find a mate and live the rest of his life with happiness and peace, like he ain't going to get no young woman. He going to find him a quality 40, 50-year-old woman, and he going to do what it do. And I think, like, do people really talk about that? Do people really talk about the reality on the ground? Or is it just these hypotheticals that we speak of, or these one-offers who just in la-la land because they can't deal with the mistakes they made in younger days? Like, is it really that hard or that complex to determine, like, dating and mating? Is it really like that?
I mean, to me, at that age, you should know where you fall in the ranking. You should know, hey, this is kind of the type of person. A, you should know the type of person that you should gravitate towards, and then B, you should kind of have an idea of, the person that because I mean, at the end of the day, dating is about proximity. So it's like when women start talking about, or even men start talking about, they want X, Y, and Z in a mate. It's like, okay, in your normal day-to-day interactions, do you interact with people like that? Like if you're a woman and you say you want a 6-figure dude, do you interact with 6-figure dudes on a regular basis?
Thank you. These people aren't realistic in their requests. I tell people all the time, you want to know if you're shooting too high, if you're shooting way above your pay grade, think of what it is, right? Jot down everything that it is that you're looking for in a mate. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 5, 30, 40 things you looking for in a mate. However many number it is you're looking for, jot all that down and then be honest with yourself and ask yourself, can you name 5 people that you know in your life who fit all these criteria? They ain't gotta be single. They could be exes, people, somebody else's mates or whatever. 5 people that meet this criteria that you know in your life. Can you find that person? If you can't find 5 of these people that meet this criteria in your life, you shot way too high. You shot way too high. You need to peel that shit back.
Not understanding, you're gonna have to have some of those sensibilities and things that relate to this person. You're gonna have to have things in common. So if you want a high value person, your education level has to be a certain way, your style has to be a certain way, your dress, your talk, right, your mannerisms, right? Like you just can't be he can't take you to finishing school at 40, right? Like he can't be hiring people to get his woman right for a corporate date. I mean, a corporate dinner. Right, like you gotta come prepared.
I got a cousin who was married 3 times, and the last time she got married was about 6 years ago, and she's in her 50s, and a high quality man, a high value man too. They got married. She moved from Staten Island out to motherfucking Georgia. Now they got their own house and everything else, out chilling out in Georgia, retired, high value man at 50. So. You could find these women like I said, depends on the woman. It depends on the woman. So,
but she's probably a woman who I don't know what her husband does, but if you got a man who
I don't want to get too much into it.
If you got a woman, say you got a man who's a lawyer or something like that, if you're a woman who is a lawyer yourself, okay, any age you can kind of jump out there and really I got divorced and I want to, and the kids ain't an issue. Kids out. Okay, I want a man who's a lawyer. I want a man who's a professor, a doctor, because you in that same status. But you can't jump out here like I'm an admin assistant or something like that,
Right.
and then talking about, hey, I want a doctor or something like that. It's like it's not gonna work like that.
But you know what? It's crazy, right? When I was in NYU, I was doing personal training, and the lady who was like I also worked in like student affairs, and the head secretary, Spanish broad, right? Like she wasn't like no looker or nothing like that. Like she wasn't nothing special, you know what I'm saying? But she was married to a judge. She was like, "Art, I want you to meet my husband. You know what I mean? You're doing such a great job. He love it. I'm working hard. I'm losing weight." And like this dude was literally a judge, and she was the secretary in student affairs.
But where did she meet him? Did she meet him when they like were in college or something?
No, because he was a little older. Like he was maybe like 8 or 9 years older than her. Like I think they probably met in one of them happenstance things, man. Like and for me, it was like, wow, your husband's a judge, and you could never tell. She was so humble, and she was one of those cool ass Puerto Rican women, right? Like know how to talk a little slang, and you know what I mean? Like, you like her, don't you, Arthur? You like that butt, right? Like she knew she was on point, right? But she was married to, now she could code switch like a motherfucker, because when he was around, her language was a little different, right? It wasn't the same as when I'm training her or when we working in the office. But it just showed me like, wow, you know what I mean? No, they both was Puerto Rican. She was Puerto Rican, he was Puerto Rican. They both was Puerto Rican. Very nice couple.
I was gonna say, unless he grew up like with a woman like that, in the sense of, he saw something like that. He came from an environment where a woman like that would have been, like, say, when he was growing up. That could have been something like, okay, I've been around women, even though I'm a judge now, I've been around women like her. I can work with her.
Yeah, you could tell he was humble. You could tell like he was a down to earth person. Like he was never above, you know what I mean? He never like put on airs. I mean, I think the fact that he was a common man and how he carried himself, I think that's probably what attracted them. They found either a church, but they found themselves somewhere in a common place. And he just was like, you know what? I could take on this common woman. I could take on this. But yo, I'm going to flip it and bounce it on another topic real quick before I shut this down. And I'm going to get y'all take on it. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the white YouTuber, Steven Crowder.
I've never heard of him.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So did y'all hear what he did the other day on and it was crazy, Psycho, because I wanted to have a conversation with you about two things, the reparations thing and Biden, because you and I think you and Up y'all was talking about it, where Biden had gave the $5.2 billion to the farmers.
Yeah.
Well, he had brought that up, right? He had the Steven Crowder guy had brought that up on his show, and dog, like he went ham, dog, he said the most racist shit you could possibly think. He was like, what's a black farmer? What's a farmer of color? I thought y'all ain't like picking in the farm.
Wow.
Yeah. Guess what, right?
Because
nothing new from him.
But I never heard of the dude, right? So I mean, I remember him getting punched in the face and shit. But even then, I didn't know who he was when he got punched. Him and the other dude got punched in the face. They was at a rally. Motherfucker walked right up to him and gave him that work, like, bing, shut the fuck up, right? But I wasn't familiar with his channel, right? But it was just weird, and like it's just a room full of white dudes, right? They took the video down. YouTube took, so I can't play it. I wanted to play it for y'all so y'all hear it. But YouTube took it down. But YouTube said they took the video down not because of the racist language. They took it down because he gave misinformation on COVID-19. Not all the racial shit that him and his people were saying for the entire show. I mean, these dudes was like, well, wait a minute. I thought y'all wanted y'all reparations in Henny. Right? I thought y'all.
Wow. No. See, I already knew that's how this stuff was coming, because Lindsey Graham, as soon as that stuff got out about the bill, he was already saying, hey, this is reparations. And I'm like, my understanding is
reparations.
No. My understanding too is like there's not even a provision that stops white farmers from getting this money.
Right.
I don't even think there's anything in that. I think it's really. I think it's targeted.
You have to show that you're a minority farmer.
Really? But you're a minority. See, that minority.
Yeah, that's not just black people.
Women. Not women. It's not for women. It's for
Native Americans. Latinos,
Native Americans, Latinos, right. Asians.
So it's not just black. So it's not just black.
Well, yeah, because no, it's not just black. It's not
right.
Just for black
so it can't get thrown in some reparations conversation.
Right.
Because of that, you can't get thrown in a reparations conversation. Right.
See, and the
Even
thing is,
even if it was just black, I still don't count that as reparations because what percentage of black people are we
well,
talking about?
yeah, I don't
You
count that
talk
as
about like 2%,
yeah, I
two
don't
percent of
not even
farmers
that, not
are
even
black
that.
are black.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
a tiny number. We
And
used to
how
have like 20% of farmers were black.
I think it's
right
just
and how many of that 2% makes up our
right,
13%.
right. And for me, I think it's
Right.
just compensation for being done wrong in your particular area of expertise. So as farming is your industry and you were, blocked out of that industry, then that's compensation for the injurious shit that happened to you and the lack of income and the lack of money that you made. I wouldn't link
Mhm.
that to reparations. Now,
No.
and so my thing was like, what's up with that? Like, what's up with us having Google moderators in our chat snatching up shit as we said, but this dude was saying the most outrageous shit known to man, right? He actually said this, show. He actually was like, well, what are y'all Henny farmers? What are y'all? Is Henny coming out the ground? Like I thought you guys didn't like
Yeah.
farming. I thought that's what all this was about. That you guys wanted out of the farm. So now farming is a thing in the hood. Like so, it's LaQuisha getting a farm, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the thing,
wow.
this dude sounds like he's triggered just because black people got something. Because I mean, when you look at truth be told in the big picture thing, I mean, look at how much money Trump gave the farmers for his whole trade war with China. $5 billion ain't a lot of money when you start talking about how many farmers actually out there, the debt relief you're gonna need on a farm. Because I mean, you got tractors that cost like $200,000. All of that, and when you start talking about what this is supposed to cover, because truth be told, a lot of people don't even have their farms anymore. I wonder if they can get into this just because a lot lost it just because you had discrimination by the USDA. Black farmers put in a loan and they pretty much just tear up your loan application as soon as you walk out the door.
Right. So that's why they was kind of emphasizing the black farmers because so many black farmers caught hell. But it's a minority farm bill, right? So it's dealing with minority farmers that kind of got caught up in in the FDA or the USDA not giving them different grants things.
I'm gonna have
Because
to look up that.
um it's not just like the discriminatory of not giving them loans is grants is because the USDA buys a lot of farmers, just buy them out. A lot of
Yep.
white farmers just produce shit just to throw away, right? Just so they can keep the market, you know what I mean? So they won't oversaturate the
Oh
market
yeah,
with
pay them not to farm.
soybeans and
Yeah.
right corn and shit like that, right? So that they can get the tariffs and the low shit for other goods and services that we're getting for other countries. So they kind of like pay our farmers to not produce shit so that they can get the cheaper shit on the market and infiltrate the market, well, saturate the market with the lesser goods and shit and reap more of the money back. So that's crazy in itself that they already got a set up system, a welfare system for white farmers, and now it's just like a compensation system for black farmers. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
Does he always like make content like this?
Yeah, from what they say, most of all his shows are like this. But my thing
Yes.
is,
Yes, he
yeah,
does.
but my thing is, how does YouTube allow that to go like that, right? And then say that the thing was flagged not for the racist comments, but flagged for the COVID misinformation.
Oh, that ain't nothing, man. Listen, man, they let all types of white nationalist channels live up on here. Like you said, they ain't start clapping on them until around election time. And now, this whole COVID misinformation thing, they coming down on motherfuckers with that shit too. That's all the way around the board. White, black, everything. I know a bunch of black channels that are down to their last strike and everything else talking about that COVID stuff. And I got mixed emotions about that. Like, I'm very against misinformation, and I think it's a lot of dangerous information that's floating around here, pseudo that's going to be a potential health hazard. But I'm also strongly against censorship. So I'm torn on this. I'm struggling with this whole them taking down their channels, even though I do agree it's misinformation and it's dangerous. I'm torn on this because I'm so anti-censorship. So I don't know how to feel about all that.
No, I know what you mean. It could definitely do a slippery slope. Part of the problem is like so many people in our community, just their critical thinking skills aren't where they need to be. So when someone puts out something crazy like this, they can't necessarily always work through it like need be.
See, for me, the whole idea is that it just goes back to also Psycho when we be on Mo's channel, we kicking it, right? It's like it's like I understand the whole thing of censorship, right? But I think when we allow people to like just be openly volatile towards us, right? And just have like just say the most racial animus things, there comes a time where decency has to stand in, right? Where decency is not so much censoring people, right? Like just saying, listen, man, we need human decency. Like we can't allow you to just be on our platform just railing on another group of people with those extremities, right? Like if you got beef with them, you can have commentary about them. But like when you just your whole show is just based on talking about Hennessy Farms and all this craziness, like that's where decency comes in that, right? I don't necessarily see it as censorship.
One of the reasons why it doesn't bother me is because I get to hear them talk freely as if I'm not there, because that's how they talking, right? Like they talking freely as if I'm not there, not really caring if I hear it or not, and I get to hear they inner feelings. You feel what I'm saying? I get to hear them actually express. I get to be the fly on the wall. So that's one of the reasons why I don't really mind it too much, because I get to use them as references of how, this is what this is how it really is.
Let's be honest. You got guns ready for them, man. Like you don't take you bomb them, dog. So you like it because you got ready ammunition for them, bro. Like like you're so knowledgeable that you can fire back. No matter how they're coming, if they want to come at you religiously, if they want to come at you economically, if they want Renaissance. Listen what happened the other day on Mo's channel, right? Listen what this Australian dude said to Psycho. This motherfucker said the Aborigines in Australia cut up and are criminals and not worthy of love and not worthy of compensation because of American hip hop music.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that.
like you gonna put that on people who not even from the culture in a different country. You gonna put that on them. That's crazy.
This Australian man blamed black rap music for the pain and agony and anger that is being displayed by young Aborigines in his country. Not that y'all killed all their grandparents and any traces of who they are.
Did you hear when he tried to pass the buck and try to put it off on Britain? Like that was Britain that did that.
Oh yeah.
We wasn't even a country then. Like what?
And that's the point that I'm trying to make to it. And you clearly showed him. Listen, wait a minute. Your grandfather was a part of that, right? Because if it lasted from this point to this point, then that mean that it wasn't just the Britons. That mean Australia had became a nation. Because he was trying to say, well, it happened before we became a nation. It happened when we were still, a colony. Right. And then Psycho was like, no, well, in 1960 something, you know what I mean? And that's why for you, it's not a problem to hear the vitriol because you have references and information to combat it. But for those who are not as learned and not as studious as you, it's it's little nicks, right? It's paper cuts, right? Where you have on armor of information and knowledge to defend yourself against the paper cuts. So you ready to listen because it gives you ammunition to you go and study things and you go and find information that can combat it, where everyday black people don't. And it becomes injurious to continuously hear people downbeat your people. And then it gets to a point where you get tired of hearing it and you join the other team. And then you blame it on some fake pro-black leader that let you down. But it's really, you just can't carry the burden of being black anymore.
No, I see what you're getting at. I'm kind of like Psycho in the sense of I'm probably a little bit more balanced in the sense of like, hey, you should rein it in some, but at the same time, I don't want it to be completely gone because like you said, I do like to hear like, okay, what do these people say when I walk out of the room? Like what are they really thinking when they get to be comfortable and you don't have to be all politically correct and say things because it might offend people. What really goes on, because to me, like that affects how you should move in the sense. Like I'll never forget like some guy was in like a Navy instructor or something down there at the I think he was at the Naval Academy or something, and he accidentally left his phone and it was recording him, and he was saying something about black people, and it got out, and then he realized the phone was recorded and it was out, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. And it's like, no, like that's what you really think in your home when it's just you, your wife, what you really feel. And it's like you were actually in a position of authority. You're not anymore because you resigned behind it. But that's what someone in a position of authority may think.
Yo, see, and that goes to the guy in what was that Oklahoma the other day, the sports announcer, right? With the calling the young basketball females niggas, like live on the mic.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for taking a knee.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's like,
and there were white kids doing it too.
It's like, and they get egged on by the Crowder dudes because it's comfortable. They get comfortable and like, oh yeah, you can fill up. Now I agree with y'all. I want to know what my enemy looks like, right? But I can deal with my enemy. What about those of us who can't? What about those of us who hear that and it's just like it beats them down, right? And they
go full Tommy almost.
Like that shit can wear you down, y'all. Like I know we tough and we got broad shoulders, but after a while, like, god damn, man, like it gets tiring. For me, it gets tiring. Like now they talk about, I just seen a story. I don't even want to do it. Information Man did a story about the cops in Houston, I think, shot a 1-year-old baby. Like it just gets tiring, man. It's like, ugh. And now I want to flip to the white dude in Atlanta, right? Like you shot these people, and then you're gonna say it's sexual frustration. So it's like, is he over here listening to MGTOW shit and incel shit?
Yeah, yeah.
I think he said sexual addiction. So I took it as he frequents those places because from what I read, his dad was like a Baptist preacher or something. So I took it as, okay, he's struggling with what he's hearing, and then he's attending these places. Now I didn't believe him in the sense because I mean he went and shot all these Asian women and that,
right? Like,
but like that's what they were claiming at least.
So you gonna kill Love You Long Time? You gonna kill Happy Ending? Like, are you like, it doesn't even make sense, young man. Like if you have this addiction, this place will help you keep it to yourself. Like you can go to these places and continue to get your Love Me Long Time and Happy Endings and just deal with your obsession quietly. But you really was out to kill those people, man. And you're giving, and you're a coward because you're giving a fake, you know what I'm saying, rationale to why you're doing it, where it was really just you listening to Trump, man.
Oh yeah, because where he from, up in Woodstock, that's Trump country,
man.
That is Trump country. Because I used to live in Atlanta. You like once you get outside the suburb, once you get outside the city, and you get outside of 285, you start moving into those suburbs, especially north of Atlanta. Yeah, it gets more and more into conservative Trump country.
Right, and they're just finding the groups that's becoming successful, and they're just taking shots at them, right? Like a couple years ago, they was taking shots at the Arabs, and they was taking shots at Pakistanians and Sikhs, and didn't even know if they was Muslim, just seeing a particular garb and a skin tone, and just associated them with the group that we're threatened by. So now you got Trump. I mean, he went on Fox the other day and called it the China flu, right? The other day, like just recently, as 2 days ago, 48 hours ago, he was on Fox News and he called it the China flu again, right? So when you see things like this, they don't, like, some of them don't want to stand behind their racism. So it's kind of like with you guys, where you guys, applaud or open racist. Now, what do we do with these cowardly ones who say it's something else, and then law enforcement and everybody else kind of go along with it, right? And say it's not a hate crime. See, this is what I'm saying. So people let their guard down, right? So when a Crowder dude talk the way he do, and then somebody that he influenced go out and kill black people, we let our guard down because it's like, I wanted to hear what he had to say, right? But if we kind of limit what they're saying, we can kind of fend off them sending out people after us, in my opinion. Because we're seeing it over and over again, where like groups that's threatening the white majority is now starting to be killed in mass shootings. And it goes all the way back to when they first came here and what they used to do with the natives. So now we're in the time of their demise. How do we deal with that? Like, how do we deal with them going out killing Chinese people and shit, and then saying it was a sexual fantasy, or it was a sexual deviance that made me do it. How do y'all feel about that?
I mean, to me, it's the same thing as the kid who said he had influenza, and I think he was drunk driving or something, and killed like 4 people or something. Rich kid who did that. Same thing there. It's or the guy who was the swimmer who ended up raping some woman out there in California and got like 6 months in jail. It's just like you got people who are just used to no sort of accountability whatsoever, and they can kind of just say this stuff, and it gets them out of. It's been getting them out all their lives. So they feel like, oh, it's gonna get me out of this situation. But the crazy thing was his parents turned him in. Like his parents like
Wow.
saw him on the camera and were like, oh, that's him, and then they were able to give out the phone number and then track his phone.
Yeah, I found that story to be crazy, and he tried that method because he was used to hearing it from some other areas, right? And so he was like, "I'm gonna just say this wasn't racial," and that I guess he thought it'd save him in his
I mean, I
prosecution.
mean, I mean, those politicians say it all. They hear all those politicians saying, "Oh, this is not racial."
And see, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
So when we say freedom of speech and don't censor people, it's easy. Like, think about this, right? I mean, it's the example where we have two examples. We have the Chinese doing what he did, and then the world not saying it's not a hate crime, right? And then we have YouTube taking Steven Crowder down for COVID misinformation, but not the hate speech. Right. So it's like Pandora's box is open. So we really can't identify what's hate anymore, because now you can masquerade hate as sexual deviancy or misinformation about COVID. Right. So it's like, so the protections that would allow us to kind of not be targets on a daily basis and not become bigger targets are now starting to, like, just be ambiguous or just be non-void. I mean, non-void, right? Because now, a motherfucker can talk about farmers, growing Hennessy and shit like that, and that's cool, but don't say COVID ain't real. You out of here.
yeah,
So COVID is
yeah,
more important than our humanity, and acknowledging sexual deviancy and incels is more important than our humanity, right?
yeah. No, I
That's
was gonna, yeah, I was gonna ask you, Psycho. I know people in the pro black space. Some of them were like big Trump supporters, but they did it because they thought, okay, if we let openly racist people come out there and just say what they got to say, and let Trump do that, that'll wake black folks up. I don't know if you took that same standpoint or not, but I think what Arthur was saying about people being unchecked with the censorship, that it looks like kind of the opposite happened. Like, yeah, Trump woke some people up, but then you got a bunch of black people who went and gravitated towards it.
Yeah, well, 2016, I think it was some of that going on with certain people, and it's like, me personally, I just want to shake up the system. I'm a strong supporter of third parties and everything, so I just want to shake the system up. So that's why I didn't care that Donald Trump got elected. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for Hillary either, but I didn't care that Donald Trump got elected, because I was, like, okay, well, let the world see what this country really is. Let the world see what this country really is, and maybe this will wake up some of these people that Obama put to sleep, because I felt like Obama put a lot of people to sleep. I felt like he put a lot of people to sleep. A lot of people thought racism was over. It's done. We got a black president. It's that and the third. And a lot of people put their guard down during those years, until I'll say around 2015, when all of a sudden the election started coming around to a new election. Trump about to be out. I mean, Obama about to be out of office. We gotta get a new president. Then all of a sudden, here come the white nationalists in full force. They was gearing up for this.
They were there doing Obama. They were there doing his administration too.
They were there, exactly. But I'm saying they really was gearing up for this, because they were still pissed off about 2012. They thought they had a real shot in 2012, and they were still pissed off about that. So they really was gearing up for 2015, and they turned up even more. And they was very, everybody saw what happened. That's when they started embracing the overt races, and Donald Trump brought in the whole conspiracy theory crowd. and the Alex Jones crowd, and that's what brought in really the pro-blacks. The pro-black sector is infested with conspiracy theorists, with these QAnon type people, right? Like these people that believe in, believe in the New World Order. They all, but like Sidnetter's whole channel was built up off of debating religious stuff, and people that believe in this New World Order and this New World government and the mark of the beast and all this other stuff. And they listen to all this Alex Jones craziness about satanic cults and cabals and children getting eaten, all this other craziness they believe in. They hear all this and they get attracted to it. So Alex Jones is promoting Donald Trump. Alex Jones saying Donald Trump's going. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. He's there to shake it up. He's there to take down the ball. Anything else, so they get full aboard. They get right on board.
But like, isn't that a dangerous part? I think what Arthur was talking about, in the sense of if it's not really checked, like you got all these black people who embrace this stuff, and it's like, because like when you start talking about a lot of these conspiracy theories, a lot of them originate in the far right. That's where those things originate. Like Timothy McVeigh, all of that came out of the conspiracy theories. And it's like, now with Trump, even though he's done all this, you got black people who fully like embrace this dude, like genuinely think like that's in my best interest. And it's like that's kind of cool. That's what kind of can happen if these people just don't have the ability to think through the stuff.
But black people have always embraced conspiracy theories, even before the internet. They have always embraced conspiracy theories. We've been hearing about the Illuminati, especially through hip hop. I mean, hip hop been talking about the Illuminati forever.
Can you kind of give me fill me in, because it's a couple things that I heard in the little back and forth you guys had. But can you fill me in a little bit about black people's affiliation with conspiracy theories and where that come from? And can y'all help me out? Is some of these behaviors and actions forms of putting down their blackness? So
the origins of it is justified. The origins of it is justified. I mean, especially when you have when you had the government literally plotting to take down all our political leaders and seceding in real conspiracies. Now we're talking real conspiracies, because have real conspiracies.
Real quick. Now, is there a real conspiracy side, right, which you speak of, which like COINTELPRO and things of that nature, and then there is an absurd.
You got the conspiracies, and then you got the conspiracy theorists, right? The conspiracy theorists are the kooky people, right? These are the kooky people. But conspiracies are real. Conspiracies do happen. Malcolm X dying was a conspiracy. Hence why people are still trying to crack unknown code. I don't even want to get into that. But yeah, people still talking about his death and wondering allegedly what happened. Like, that's a conspiracy, because you have people that conspired to get him killed, right? Conspiracy just means you have more than one person conspired and to do something against another group of people, right? So conspiracies are real. It's the conspiracy theorist part. That's where it starts going crazy. That's where it starts going left, because this is when you start having people that just start looking for things that ain't even there and on everything, because they have this presupposition that there's some mystical dark force in place that's in line to try to, it gets spooky. It comes from a spooky realm, believing in the supernatural. And, if you're walking around believing that there's, dark magic of dark forces that's trying to take you down, you're going to start looking around paranoid, trying to see things that ain't even there. But, if you look hard enough for anything, you're going to find it. When it comes to like.
No, I just think it's crazy that. Go ahead, Arthur.
Real quick, I'm sorry, Renaissance. You can have it right.
You good. I talked a bunch. You good? Go ahead.
Now, real quick, Psycho. Let's relate that to, like, we get into it because we've witnessed it so much just in our group, and how they undermine our trajectory in our group, right? By conspiring to take out our leaders or take out any black freedom fighters, right? Now. Right. How did these people get lost in the theorists and the ideas of the theorists that has attached them to the Trumps of the world or the Alex Joneses of the world? What they're saying is attractive? What's the magnitude?
Because a lot of people need to make sense of things, right? And when they see certain things and the government trying to conspire against us, and they see our situation and everything, people need to make sense of things, right? So they start thinking it got to be something greater than just a racist system that's put in place that's being upheld by a bunch of white supremacists that's looking to make sure that they stay on the top and we stay on the bottom. They needed to be deeper than that. That's not really. So they got to start finding certain things that's deeper, because and some people, like I said, they're spiritual, so they got to find the spiritual reasoning behind this. It can't be it can't be something that's secular, because the secular thing is too, it's just, they just can't fathom it without it being something bigger in place,
natural,
a larger picture. That's when right. So that's when that's when the conspiracy theorist part starts coming in. That's when they start trying to attach certain things, start looking for scriptures that says that this was supposed to happen, or this was, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where it starts going left. And that's when you start getting things like the Illuminati and everything else, which the Illuminati was real. It was a real thing at one point in time. It got disbanded, but a lot of people feel like it's still in circulation, moving in the shadows, yeah.
So what you think, Renaissance? How you feel about that? What do you think the correlation between our conspiratorial life and then our conspiratorial magnetism, or being attracted to it? Because I hate conspiracies. Like, I believe some of them are true, but I just be like, this motherfucker's really that lost. But then, sometimes you listen to a brother like Psycho, and then he puts certain pieces together that may have had you not believe it. So how do you feel about that?
No, it's ironic that you just highlighted this comment in the chat. Because I think Candace might actually hit some of it on the head. I think part of it may be escapism too.
That's what I think. I think it's escapism from blackness, to be honest. That's my bottom line too.
Because I'm like, like I was saying, a lot of this stuff originates in the right wing, and a lot of it is rooted in white supremacy in and of itself. So I'm just like, you literally are just taking white supremacist talking points, and some people don't realize it, and some people do it and just don't care. And I think, like you said, I think it's escapism.
I agree. It definitely is escapism, and yes, these are definitely white supremacists that created this whole lane. This whole lane got created, the conspiracy theorist lane. A lot of it got created by a book, 1984. With the whole thought police and everything else. A lot of these buzzwords that you hear today all stems back from that book, 1984, which was actually written like in the 40s. So that's when that lane actually got created. Actually, you can even date it back further than that. The Flat Earth Society, they was conspiracy theorists, and that dates back even further than that. But the more modern version of the conspiracy theorists that you see today, that Alex Jones types and everything else, you could date him back to the more modernized lane started with that book, 1984, and then it kind of grew from there. And you started, it just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's like, and it's crazy, right? We pick up a lot of escapism. Like, I never understood about why we buy into cults the way we do. Like, how black people actually bought into Alex Jones or Yahweh Ben Yahweh, like, or even, and I ain't coming at nobody's religion, or like the Jehovah Witnesses and things of that. Because like when you was on the panel with the guy, the Jehovah Witness guy, right? And
he's a Mormon.
Yeah, no, I mean Mormon. I'm sorry, Mormon.
Yeah.
And he's and then you're telling him about the Mormon doctrine and how it talked about black people are soulless shits that's just gonna be, we're never gonna be saved, and we're unsavable people, like we're just gonna burn in hell in eternity, and we're just like chilling with y'all to kind of get ready to go to hell and shit like that. And it's like, even when he was saying where he jumped from being a Catholic, a German Italian Catholic, he started talking other shit. Right. And I like some of the shit he was saying, was like, right. But even in that, it's showing it's like he was allowed to jump from religion to religion and belief and belief and belief, but all those belief systems didn't want nothing to do with us.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that was like none of them wanted anything to do with us, but we want to be a part of all of them.
All of them.
And that's the crazy. And it's like, we think the groups that they can jump from place to place to place, we can do the same thing, not knowing, listen,
it's funny.
They don't want you there. Go ahead,
And
my
it's
bad.
funny because their doctrines, they call African spirituality in those doctrines, witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
Yeah.
Right, witchcraft. Evil.
They say
Evil.
they say it's Lucifer, work of Lucifer. It's Satan and everything else. They that book teaches you to hate African spirituality. And I'm not an African spirituality person or nothing like that. I ain't knocking it, but that's not my lane. But it just blows my mind how people embrace a doctrine that teaches you to shit on something that you come from. It teaches you to have disdain for it, to run from it, to look at it as it's evil and everything else, and get spooked out by it, and get behind me, devil. You know what I mean? Like, you teach to scoff at it, and you embrace this doctrine that we did that doesn't. It comes from a completely other side of Africa, from a
Right,
completely
right.
different group
A
of people.
whole different paradigm, whole different
Mm-hmm.
polarization, and you're embracing it. And it's like you don't see the signs on the wall that they don't really want you to embrace it. Like, how was that though, being up there with him, listening to him say those things about, like when you brought the information about the guy Smith and all this and that, and he was like the natives, and he was like, oh, it was what did he say? Defendants. It was what did he
Yeah,
say? What did he say?
self-defense. He said it was
Self-defense.
self-defense.
Yeah, it was
My ass.
self-defense. How did that feel? Like when we're up there, how does it feel to you when you hear how they just totally try to discount us, or are their actions they were responding to pushback from others? Like he was like the Americans was killing us. Well, y'all wasn't Americans, but y'all was something different. Like
Yeah,
you
he
understand that?
he definitely got a romanticized version of what happened to Joseph Smith. I was chuckling, but it's typical. It's typical. They always downplay everything that they did and try to justify it, minimize it, and everything. That's when all of a sudden they'll start saying, well, we all fucked up, and everything else,
Yeah.
start
Lump
trying
us
to,
all
you
together
know,
like, oh, it ain't just man is
yeah, yeah.
infallible. Man is infallible.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
bullshit.
Anything to
Well, I
take
just
from their ownership. Anything to
yeah, I
take
just
anything away from their
right.
ownership. They
What
like to throw rocks to hide their hands. Yeah.
What you think about that, Renaissance? How do you feel about the people who act like we don't have no contribution, or always want to kumbaya us to death, and bring us in to the melting pot and the gumbo, so as we cook, we just slowly dilute and no longer be black? You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I just kind of look past people like, okay, at this point, like, okay, these people are ignorant as hell. They showing the type of education they got. Because like for me, I didn't learn much about Black history in school, but my parents, I learned because my mom actually worked at a Black cultural center on a college campus. So I knew about people like Carter G. Woodson and things like that, and abolitionists, things just outside the scope that you would normally get. And then, since that seed was sort of planted in me, that kind of, I always knew I enjoyed reading about Black history. So like when I got older, got out of college and everything, that was some of the first things I started doing, was studying, um, all sorts of history, not just even the bad stuff, but, the successes, our businesses, people that contributed to medicine, science, law, sports, all of these things. So like when I hear someone like just think like that, I'm just like, to me, it kind of, even when I hear a Black person talk like that, I'm just like, you're speaking in a reflection of your environment. Cause like the more I get out into the world and like, interact with people, the more it's like, oh, you see Black people here that you'd never hear about on the news. You never know that, it's all these Black engineers working here in this company, just because it's not put out like that. So to me, I always look at it as, oh, this is just a reflection. These are the type of people you hang around and you gravitate towards, and that makes you comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. That shit kind of throws me off. It's kind of like, I don't know. It for me, it's like no matter what we do, you guys are always gonna seek to either
Yeah,
integrate us into your ideas, or just discount us in totality, or be like a, and I hope he's listening, be like a trailer dude, right? And act, and just, for me, I think that dude's just slumming, right? Like, I think he's just trying to impress Black people, and because he kept saying like cam up, like that's the new shit over here. But Black people like cam up. White people are not running around asking each other to cam up, right? Like that's not something that's going on in their spaces, right? And he's like, oh, I want to see you on the camera so I can believe you, right? Like he would never ask Psycho if he could see him on the camera, right? But he was just trying to like show us he's cool and he's woke and he's see, those are the ones I watch out for, right? Because on one channel, on one flip, you're just really jealous because this guy's up here big, more racist and more white than you. So now you're gonna come and act like you cool with the black people and what he's saying is blasphemous and shit like that. And you're really part and parcel with what he's talking about. Like you really a part of what he's saying, but you just want this space. So for me, it's like, I'm not gonna say that I distrust them or anything like that, but it just seems like no matter where we go, no matter how they present themselves, their true agenda is to kind of get us to not be so black, right? So they won't either be intimidated by it or that they can somehow be a part of it. Like if we turn it down a little bit, they can link on and become black with us, right? So that's why like all of this to me is kind of like Tommy, Kevin Samuels. It's like a race to see who can make the most money off black dysfunction and dissing black people, right? Or who could make their channel bigger by having all these white people. So like now I know why Phil Levi's got 1 million subscribers, right? He didn't get 1 million subscribers organically by black people. It's because he used to talk shit about black people.
Wait,
Right.
Phil, Phil used to do that.
Yeah.
Like when? Because ever since I listened to Phil, even before he had to change the name to the African Diaspora Network, he always usually be calling out a lot of racism, white supremacy. I never really heard him like talk about black people.
You must only start listening to Phil. You wasn't listening to Phil prior to 2015, huh?
Nah, I was not.
Okay, yeah, that's why it sounds strange to you. Yeah, because that's when he started turning pro-black. Yes, he used to talk.
Oh, that's wow. Taz said the same exact thing you said, Psycho.
Yeah,
before the woke rush of 2000.
Yeah, I told you,
bro. Yeah. Psycho said the same thing, Taz. About an hour ago, Psycho said the same thing you just said. He said the same. Wow, that's deep.
Wait, so Phil was on some Tommy stuff back in the day?
Yeah, he was calling black women hyenas and everything. Yeah, he was reviewing.
Oh wow.
He was every video he was reviewing World Star hip hop videos, talking about how bad we are and how we need to clean shit up, and these women, these black women, is this they hyenas, and he was doing that around the same time Tommy blew up. Him and Tommy blew up at the same time. That's what a lot of Phil subs are old subs, right? That's why his views don't really match his sub count. That's why he doesn't really get the same amount of views as a lot of other people you might see that got millions of views, because a lot of those are dead accounts. A lot of those are old accounts that from way back then and everything else. So like that's why, like you notice Kevin Samuels get way more views than him with less subs. That's because Kevin Samuels subs ain't old subs. All his subs are new current subs. That's why he gets more views.
No, that's the crazy part in all of it too. Is the sad part is that like you all said, you got people who want to make money off the dysfunction, but you got it in that form with what Tommy and Kevin Samuels does, and then you got it in other forms of like the sort of conspiratorial element, that'll try to make money off of black folks in that sense of sell them on that dream, or hey, buy this book, or or you need to go and get this this herbal treatment, this and that, and I'm just like, people keep running from one conspiracy theory to the next, and it's like all these people are just trying to grift off you.
Yeah. And they made a grift, and it's crazy. Like, wow, like the money is in talking crazy about us, man. That's nuts. And so like to kind of bring the whole thing to 360, like that's what basically it was. It was like Tommy was just railing against the people who's maximized the potential of this space. Like they've maximized what it could be, right? What and they put a bow on it, right? Like they didn't leave it, like you said, they didn't leave it ratchet. Like you're totally ratchet, and you want the general public and Hollywood and to come and get you when they're not. Like they got enough ratchet shit on TV. They don't need a ratchet, supposedly right-winger black dude. Like you're just an anomaly. You're just an anomaly. Right. So what he's trying to do is, I think he's trying to undermine Kevin and them and be like, hey, look at me, folks. Like, I'm the originator of this. Like, stop looking at that new monkey on the corner. Come look at the old monkey on the corner. And we like, no, we're
He's
good.
trying
like,
to get his black. He's trying to get his black audience back.
Yeah,
he's trying to get his black.
yeah.
He lost his black audience. He knows he did. He actually he been realized this, and he don't know how to get them back.
No, I was gonna say it seems like that seems to be a trend because I mean you kind of had the whole Stacey Dash situation. It seems like some of these right wingers are seeing like the light at the end of the tunnel that hey, this thing is kind of over. This Trump thing is kind of done. Now I gotta go.
This is the thing. In my humble opinion, the Trump shit is not over, right? But black people's viability and black people's use for it is over. Right? Like the Trump shit ain't over. Like it's just getting wound up, right? Like the Trump shit is not over. Like think about it. They just voted on giving every American citizen that could get it $1,400, right? No Republican voted for it. That's Trump. That's his effect, right? Because they don't want to deal with him saying, yo, look, right? Because maybe he doesn't have the social media platform that he did, but Fox News still give him a mic. Right, certain media platforms still give him a mic. So if you voted for that, he comes on Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo, or Tucker Carlson, or one of those shows, and say, "Oh my God, did you see such and such out of Georgia voted for Biden's lousy bill?" That's the end of their career. So Trump is still owing, right? But black people's place in it is no longer.
I mean, you can't. I don't think you can hide from the racism in it anymore.
Right. And that's why they're coming back to the PAC, because now the racism has become at the forefront of the party, right? It's no longer a big tent party. Now it's a TP. Now it's a TP, and they don't want particular people in there. Right. And that's what this is about. So now you see all the black people that no longer can be employed by this machine. Now they're coming back to the fold saying, hey, what's up, man? Y'all don't love me no more. Like, how y'all listening? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. But it's good. Like, and we shouldn't let them back in. Like, we shouldn't take them back in. Black people shouldn't go back to being staunch Tommy supporters. We shouldn't allow her to come back into the fold or find her on The View one day or BET or, presenting at the BET Awards. She shouldn't get to be a part of the culture anymore. Like, we shouldn't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, my whole thing is, we shouldn't allow for people to demean our culture with big-ass bullhorns. Somebody should pull the plug, and we shouldn't allow for the ones who left us to go rock with that shit to come back. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, and for me, I'm like with Tommy, if he comes back, you only going to have a smaller audience. Because, I mean, I figure if you try to come back to the black community, it's only going to be black men that you can really pander to. Because black women don't sound like they're going to rock with that for the most part. Or what Tommy's on, even if he tones it down. And that was my whole thing with Kevin Samuels. And people were talking about, they were digging in his past. I was like, I knew that was coming. Because like when you take that angle of they're taking of basically trying to build a platform off of bashing black women, that's only going to take you so far. And then you're going to catch the attention of, the sisterhood, and they're going to have a problem with you.
This is fact.
They snatched his wig. They snatched his wig a little bit, right? But I'm gonna tell you what saved him when he went to those white platforms. That kind of buffered him from it, right? Because like it was almost like right before they could really snatch his wig off, the white people kind of snatched him up and grabbed him, right? So it's like now that the sisterhood effect is no longer as strong as it was a couple of weeks ago when they first started their attack. I mean, he's kind of pretty much brushed off all that shit. Right now he's back in full swing. You know what I'm saying? So he's kind of protected by the upper crust right now, and I think that's
let me say this real quick. He did the best thing that he handled it masterfully. Right? He handled this whole Tammy situation masterfully. He got his ass up there, did his stream, and didn't even mention it. Didn't acknowledge it. Didn't mention it. Didn't give Tammy no attention, treated him like the nobody that he is. The troll that he is. He treated him exactly like the troll he is, that he ignored him. And that's what I always tell people, ignore trolls. And that's what he did. And that's how because now Tommy mad as shit now. Because he ain't even acknowledge him. Tammy did that whole little tirade and tantrum and everything else with the season. He didn't even acknowledge. even after that tirade. So now he's really mad.
Yo, he
So
didn't
he
say
ain't gonna
not
stop.
one
This will probably
word.
make him turn up now.
He didn't say not one word. So now Donovan engaged. Donovan engaging, but then Donovan was like, then it got to a point where Donovan was like, well, listen, man, I'm not about to go back and forth with you with some shit that happened 5 months ago. So you have a good night. And that kind of ended that one. But yeah, Kevin Samuels did not give him any energy whatsoever. And you know, it's funny that you say that because Kevin Samuels gave Reg and them, when Reg and them came for him, he responded back. He went on Obsidian show and responded back. On his own show, said some things. You know, he made the comment about Reg being the neighborhood wino and all that kind of shit. But he said nothing to Tommy. Nothing. So it kind of, I think him and Tommy didn't organically grow together. So he probably like, man, fuck you. I don't know you. But, you know, Reg and all them, he was in the space with them. They know each other. So he probably felt a little more like, damn, why y'all coming at me? Like, damn, what I do to y'all? Like, y'all supposed to be cool with me. So yeah, I get it.
But quickly, Arthur, why did he go at not Kevin Samuels but Donovan? Because Donovan doesn't have a black audience, does he?
Well, you know, him and Donovan is kind of cut from the same cloth. You know, Donovan is not as ratchet with his. Donovan is more suburban black guy, like more like, you know, above the fray black guy, kind of like what's that guy name? That used to be on O'Shea all the time. Live in Utah, some motherfucking where. What's his name?
Not Black Heights or something like that, was it?
Nah. The other guy.
I know who you talking about,
you know
though.
what I'm talking about, though. Kind of like that guy, right? You know how they're black, but they try to do their best to stay away from blackness, and you know, and point out blackness is like a deficit and a flaw, right? So I guess Tommy was going to go in the show, so they made an agreement for Tommy to come on this show. And then Tommy was like, all right, my lawyer was sending you the paperwork. And Donovan, like, your lawyer? Like, come on, man. Like, click the link, bro. Like, click the link and come up, or I'll fly you out to Vegas and, you know what I mean? And we can kick it, you know what I'm saying? But pay you. So he's like, all right, I'll get back to you, right? And then the numbers, Donovan was like, man, I'm not paying you nothing. So Donovan stopped responding. So Tommy was like, he already was on that Kevin Samuels shit. And then I think Donovan needled him with the interview, right? He threw the interview up there. It was like, yeah, matter of fact, while you bitching and complaining, I'm going to show you that I did an interview with him. So that triggered Tommy. So he's trying to troll both of them at the same time. Where Donovan took the bait and kind of gave some clarification to what their issue was, Kevin Samuels gave him no smoke. But for me, it's just a continual argument and a continued beef with people who are making a lot of money off of talking about black dysfunction and black shit. And for me, that's the problem, but I can't knock their hustle.
But does Donovan even stay in that lane? Because I mean, I knew he used to be on O'Shea's talking.
He's one of the originators of that.
But didn't he kind of move out of that to like when he went more to the white manosphere and O'Shea was kind of roasting him on that? I think they had a little fallout, and I think that I guess they may have patched it up. But I know, like, when he was on O'Shea's, what was that call-in show he used to do with, like, LAR, him, Steve the Dean used to be on it one season. I can't remember. Yeah. Donovan was on there one season. And then, like, he was just kind of making it sound like Donovan kind of wanted to, like you say, move above and out of it. So I figured he didn't talk about black women like that anymore.
Xanatos Clutch. That's the dude name. Xanatos Clutch. Yeah, Xanatos. Thanks, Will Clinton. Thank you, brother. Yeah, Xanatos Clutch and Donovan is like the same kind of.
Yeah, I don't like that guy. I don't like him.
Yeah, they like the same kind of dude. You know what I'm saying? They like the same kind of.
No. I've been on a few platforms. I ain't got nothing personal against Clutch. He has his own views. Like I said, we talk about, you know, things like politics and things like that. I know he feels a certain way about the women, but, you know, me personally, I kind of let people live in that sense, unless you just, like I said, completely out there on some Tommy stuff, and then I just kind of gotta back away from your channel altogether. But yeah, like I said,
I ain't got no personal smoke with him, but he be saying things off the chain to me.
Yo, let me tell y'all. That shit he be saying, that shit O'Shea be saying, that shit bothers me, y'all. I'm sorry. It bothers me that these intelligent ass men take so many pop shots at the black community. I remember
that bothers me.
My mind. O'Shea called London on a Track, called him a dusty. And I'm saying to myself, you just labeled a Grammy nominated, award-winning, multi-platinum 20 times over producer Dusty. Where this motherfucker, the hits that he got right now, his quarterly what's name checks is nuts. What's Dusty about a dude who's a millionaire, but just because he dresses a different way and he belongs to the hip hop culture, he's a Dusty. And you said that him having
That's how they view it.
by a successful music artist who some people call a genius in her talent, you call them two Dusties and Hood Rat. They're millionaires. They're successful global entrepreneurs and producers of black culture, and you made a video calling them Dusties. That shit threw me off.
O'Shea did that.
Yes. He called the dude London on the track. He was like, what's her name? What's the singer name, man? Summer Walker. He's like, Summer Walker is having a baby by the Dusty London on the DJ producer. Like, I'm saying to myself, we can't celebrate this young man's success. We can't celebrate
what happened to protected black men. What happened to protected black men? Like, that's the thing that bothers me. It always bothers me about the Black Manosphere. Is it's fake. This whole brotherly love and everything else. We gonna protect black men and black men this, and we all together and black men. No, that's bullshit. They are very selective about the black men they want to fuck with. And then there's a group of black men they do not want to fuck with, and they try to make it seem like, well, we're talking about the thugs and the hooligans and everything else. That third, no, you are talking about people that just embrace their blackness, because you can have a person who just look like they from the street, not be from, not even be in the streets, be highly intelligent, can talk most of you people on the table about any topic and everything else, but you won't fuck with him because he might have a certain dialect, he might dress a certain type of way, or whatever the case may be. So this isn't about criminal activity. You understand? Like this is about this is classism and dirty macking. A lot of it is dirty macking with a lot of them people too. They just want to kick Pookie and Ray Ray under the bus, so the women won't want to deal with Pookie and Ray Ray, and they'll want to fuck with them. That's a lot of that too.
No, that's what I was literally
that's
having.
All it is.
No, I was having a conversation with someone about that the other day. Literally, I said, I think literally the divide you're seeing in this space amongst all the beef and people going back and forth, it's a class divide amongst the men. Like you got dudes in different places. So depending on who they are, some dudes will say their problem was with feminism. Some dudes will say their problems with Pookie and Ray Ray. Some people say their problem is with white supremacy. But a lot of it just boils down to classism, in my opinion.
That's exactly what it comes down
classism. It's definitely classism. I definitely think it's classism. I think you're 100% spot on with that, man. It's definitely classism. And they think that they belong to a different class of people than us. And I'm trying to figure out, like, how. Like, I don't know. It's just amazing to me that they try to, and Psycho, you called it when you just said that, they try to knock Pookie and Ray Ray so that Pookie and Ray Rays will be, not viable options for black women, right? So every black man that dressed a particular way is a Pookie and Ray Ray, right? Like, no matter, because I remember, and I almost lost my train of thought. One day we was on Renaissance, we was on RBR's channel, right? And the young brother is cool now, but this young brother came in from the clouds, started calling Psycho a thug, and he had felonies, and I'm saying to myself, you're only saying that because he's a black man, right? So you attribute that he's a felon like all other black men, and Psycho was like, I ain't never been to jail day in my life, young man. What the fuck you talking about? And he's one of those manosphere dudes, right? So everybody's a Pookie and Ray Ray. He's like, you sell drugs, and we just like listening to him, like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? So it's like they helicopter in to demean people that may not speak like them or give the impression that they have some kind of street affiliation, right? So for me, it's like they really want to be street niggas, y'all. Like, because they behave worse than street niggas. The shit that I see on here, as far as the beefs and all that shit be petty girl shit. It don't even be real shit that you should have a beef about, but it just be about who's going to control this space and who's going to be the face of it and get all the money. And now they've just scattered, but their narrative is still the same. It's still black people fuckery. It's still knocking black people, but they just put it in a different package. And the shit to me is mind blowing, because it's like, you guys are the reason why outside groups think it's okay to hate us, because they're listening to you guys. Like, they're the ones that's pulling up, listen to what the fuck y'all talking about. Because real niggas ain't listening to that shit. Real niggas like, man, who the fuck is these goofballs?
Now, my thing is like I feel like anybody who's doing something that is harming the community should be called out. You know, whether that's someone who's a Pookie and Ray Ray, or whether that's someone who's trying to grift off the community. You know, those two things are just as bad to me because at the end of the day, you're hurting the community overall. So whether it's someone out there who's being a deadbeat father, or is someone who is trying to go the Tommy route, trying to make a bunch of money, and by putting all these negative stereotypes on black people, spread that sort of misinformation. To me, both those people are problematic.
Yeah, and they making a lot of fucking money doing it, man. They making a lot of money doing it. Yo, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end this, man. I gotta get ready for physical therapy, man. Get this arm straight. Yo, man, this was a pleasure, man. I love when y'all two brothers come up, man. It'd be a lot of knowledge being dropped, man. And Psycho taught me a lot about this shit. But I just think Tommy Sotomayor, man, when they not gonna love me, man, he having his Mitch moment. You know what I mean? The people not gonna love me when I ain't in the game no more, dog. And that's what's happening. He don't think the people love him no more, and he having a meltdown. It's a few of them in this space that's going through that. If y'all pay attention.
Well, it could be the finances too, because I mean, if people ain't managed their money correctly and all this, this YouTube thing falls off. You don't put so much negative energy out there and got so much evidence on the internet. It's like you can't go back to a 9 to 5 type of job after some of the stuff you done said.
Yeah, you renting mansions and shit. You moving in Arizona, renting them baby mansions and them McMansions. You need that bread. That shit costs flying them birds out. You know what I mean? Cause see, Tommy fly birds out. Like, he don't be flying dimes out. Like, nigga, you be flying Tequita and them out, and then acting like you flying bad bitches out. You be flying bitches that be giving you chlamydia and shit. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so that nigga's ratchet. So
Oh, Tommy messing shit like that?
Man, come on.
Oh, wow.
Renaissance, you gotta
a long history of it. Long history of it.
Have you ever heard of Clyde Diva? Right?
Nah. Like I said,
Clyde Diva is, nigga.
No, like I said, I don't follow
Tommy. Mess with her? Tommy mess with her?
Yeah, mess with Clyde Diva, man. That's what the beef was about. Like, Clyde, she went from oh man, that man Ashe, you know what I mean? The Ashe chick, you know what I'm saying? Like, and
wait, he messed with her too?
These are
he messed with her too?
Boogers, man. These are all
oh wow, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't be paying attention what Tommy doing over there, man, but that's crazy. I didn't know he messed with both of them.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Man, that's why I was saying, like, we gotta have a network over here, man, so that we can talk about that shit that's going on over there, man, because that shit is crazy, dog. Like, that shit is real deal, man. We could be hood commentators, Psycho, because we hood, me and you hood dude. Like, we smart dudes, but what runs through our veins is our sixth sense of how we grew up in the hood, right? Me and you see the world through a hood lens with a little bit of intellect on it, right? And when we decipher shit, we decipher it through that lens. You know what I'm saying? So when we watching this shit over here, yeah, maybe fuck with the hood broads, man.
Oh wow! And then he be the main one talking about it. That's the funny thing. Like I said, I don't follow his channel like that, but because like I said, it was too over the top. But I knew what his message was, and it's just funny you say that.
You are what you eat, Renaissance. You are what you eat, bruh. You know what I'm saying? And he be eat. That's why he do it, man. Like, he do it because he never got these props. Women probably want you. Listen, man. All this shit these dudes stem from is being rejects and misfits in our community, dog. All these dudes that's popular, like, even if you look at a Kevin Samuels, if you look at his mugshot, bitches wasn't running down on no skinny ass nerd looking nigga like that. Come on, y'all. Keep it 100. Keep it 100. This is
he got a record too. Dang.
Damn, Renaissance, where the hell you been at?
Like I said, I don't follow his channel like that. I don't follow his channel like
that. Blew up about that. That went kind of that went viral on the Chitlin circuit like 2 weeks ago, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I know. Like I said, I knew that they had put out some business talking to his ex, but I didn't know he had got put out there like that with a record.
Yeah, he had his mug shot up, you know what I'm saying? And women weren't running down on no nigga like that, man. Come on, man. Women weren't running down on no dude that looked like what's his name? Tommy. Come on, dog. All this is, and then you know he dark skinned, so you know people probably called him black and crispy and all that, like I said the other day, right? And all this is these people just found a space where they could take the revenge out on the cool kids. That's it.
He is still like 6'4" though, isn't he? 6'4", 6'5".
Right, but like I know niggas who 6'4", 6'5" look like nerds that don't really get no play. You know what I mean? Like he's probably a tall guy, but you know what I'm saying? And he practiced it, right? Like you can hear like all these things that these guys talk about is practice, right? Like they don't have no, like Nas got a lyric. I don't got no game. Bitches understand my story. See, like these niggas don't got a story. So they gotta run game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they run game. You know what I mean? They running game because they don't have no story.
Because he definitely faked it till he made it. He definitely faked it till he made it.
Or their story is not something that don't nobody want to hear, right? So they created an image for.
Well, you ain't got nothing. Right. When you ain't got nothing, when you ain't experienced a whole lot in life, and you ain't got a whole lot that you can speak on as far as you know, things you've been through, and you know, giving advice on things based on your experiences. You got to create somebody else's experiences, right? You got to live vicariously through people that you probably know, and start trying to and start asserting their achievements to what you actually achieved, or just start thinking of things off the fly, just making things up, and you know that's when people start getting tripped up because they start lying so much about their life. You know that people don't know on here. People are listening, right? Like if you say you did X, Y, Z, this, that, and the third, people heard that, and people remember these things, and people gonna come up with receipts later if you say something that don't line up with what you had just said over here. People gonna start going like, yeah, you gotta just be, you know, you gotta be careful with what you say up on this.
Yeah, there are a lot of Roscoe Jenkins, man. You remember that Martin movie, Roscoe Jenkins, where he made himself like a self-help guy, and you know what I mean? Like Kevin Samuels is his number one client, right? Like he's an image consultant. So the first thing he did was change his image, right? And then he practiced on himself, and then he went out and found guys that was of his same ilk, and he helped them become a better version of themselves. Like he even said it. He's like, my style is Eurocentric, right? So why would an African American man from Oklahoma want a Eurocentric style to show the world who he is, right? Why not enhance your African American style? Like African Americans have been styling for years. You have that picture of the three young men from back in the 30s and 40s all dressed up in suits. So that's not regalia. That's not regal. That's not stylish. Like, so African American style is not appropriate enough to represent yourself on a global scale. So I mean, it's just pretty much they're rejecting their blackness because for the most part, black society probably rejected them, right? So now we have them here manifesting their rejection as somehow being image consultants, being, you know, commentators of black ratchetness and black shit, you know what I mean? And it's just a hustle, man. It's just they figured out how to turn lemons into lemonade, and I ain't mad at them for that. But I wish they just stopped using their race and their pain as a means to an end. That's my take on it. That's definitely my take on it. So, yo, fellas, man, I'd like to thank both of y'all. Go ahead, you got some psycho? Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just agreeing with what you said. That's all.
Yeah. So, yo, man, Psycho Renaissance, man, and everybody that came through, man, thank y'all so much, man. This was a great build. Psycho always come with that wisdom and that knowledge as usual. Renaissance always come in and add his thoughts and his intellect. And, yo, it was always a great build. So, yo, thank everybody for coming through. You know what I mean? Checking out the AC Star Morning Show. And I wish all y'all have a great day. But y'all know I need y'all to do those three things, man. 1, I need y'all to love yourself. 2, love everybody around y'all. And 3, stay safe. This y'all man, AC Star. I'm out. Renaissance, Psycho. Thank y'all, brothers, man. Love y'all. Be good.
Hey, catch you later, Arthur.
All right, peace.